Could governments soon influence chatbot answers by quietly publishing research-style content for AIs to ingest? That's one of today's more unsettling developments. Welcome to the Automated Daily AI News Edition, the podcast created by Generative AI. It's August 18th, 2026. I'm Trend Teller, and here's the AI news you actually need to know. This episode is brought to you by CrispCall. CrispCall provides agentic cloud telephony for modern businesses. Find the link in the episode notes. First, a story about AI answers being shaped before the question is even asked. Responsible Statecraft reports that a supposedly neutral think tank publishing a flood of Israel-Gaza papers may actually be part of a government-linked effort to influence search engines and chatbots. If that reading is right, this is a preview of a new kind of information war, where the goal is not only to persuade people directly, but to shape the source material AI systems later treat as credible. In model news, ZAI launched GLM 5.3 and says it got there without changing the base model at all, just by pushing post-training much harder. The company claims big gains in coding, long-running agent tasks, and even cyber capability, enough to delay the open weights release briefly for extra safety checks. Put that next to Hugging Face's latest open model report, which says usage is booming but concentrated, and that Qwen has become a central base model for the community. And the takeaway is simple. OpenAI is moving fast, and some of the strongest momentum is coming from China. OpenAI also gave a clearer glimpse of how dependent top-tier AI is becoming on hardware partners. A filing shows the company exercised warrants for a 422% stake in Cerebras, then almost immediately previewed an Ultrafast API tier for GPT-5.6 Sol running on Cerebras systems. The speed claims sound impressive, but they were not independently verified, and OpenAI still has not shared pricing or a broad launch date. Even so, the relationship between model makers and chip suppliers is looking less like procurement and more like strategy. At the same time, OpenAI is reorganizing at the top. Several senior executives have left within a short stretch. Greg Brockman is reportedly taking a more hands-on role, and the company appears to be tuning itself for enterprise growth and possibly an IPO. Add a report that NVIDIA and OpenAI are close to backing a huge Ohio data center campus, though on a scaled-back financing plan, and the picture is one of a company racing to secure both leadership stability and physical capacity. Google may be making similar moves from a different angle. One report says it has turned to AMD to help design a new TPU generation that could blend accelerator hardware with more general-purpose CPU capability, a design that would fit reinforcement learning and agent-heavy workloads. Separately, Google bought a massive trove of de-identified Spirit Airways data out of bankruptcy, including operational records and communications. Together, those stories show how the next phase of AI competition is about both better chips and better real-world data. On security, Wiz says its autonomous red agent found and validated a critical GitHub Actions flaw in a public Snowflake repository just 5 days after the bad workflow went live. The bug let a crafted issue title trigger code execution and expose a Jira token, and Snowflake says it patched the issue and rotated the credential the same day. The bigger point is that AI-driven defenders can now spot exploitable mistakes almost instantly, which also means attackers will move just as fast. A couple of research stories are worth watching. A new full-bandwidth transformer paper suggests a fairly modest architectural tweak can help models reuse more internal computation, improving reasoning and coding efficiency without abandoning the standard transformer setup. The Little Learner project, meanwhile, found that scaling and post-training help most on material a model has actually been exposed to, but do much less for knowledge outside that curriculum. And in formal methods, researchers say frontier LLMs are shrinking lean-proof work from months to weeks, with tools like math code trying to make theorem proving feel more like an interactive coding loop. Finally, the business layer around AI is consolidating. Stripe is reportedly acquiring OpenRouter for more than $7 billion, a sign that model routing is becoming strategic infrastructure rather than just a convenience for developers. And Cursor says its acquisition by SpaceX is now complete, betting that access to enormous GPU capacity will turn coding assistants into more capable software teammates. In both cases, control of the plumbing may matter almost as much as control of the models. Thanks to our sponsor, Stock MVP. Stock MVP helps you invest like the pros using data-driven insights. Find the link in the episode notes. That's the roundup for August 18th, 2026. Thanks for listening. Links to all the stories we covered can be found in the episode notes.